I'm SAHLA FARSANA. I'm a final year student of BBA LLB from Nehru Academy of Law.
All the very best, SAHLA. AARATHI.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Aarthi. I am a second year MBA student from IIM Kozhikode.
Good luck, AARATHI. And now for the motion. SAHLA, your 30 seconds starts now. Go ahead.
The ruling of party by the maximum seats is a very important ingredient to the national policy or the national development. It is transparent, it is well structured, and moreover, it is independent. There is no any compromise of ideas, ethics, and values. And the manifesto which we have provided to the public are clear and irrelevant. And when it comes to the recent today, the horse trading has become a very common nowadays because the MLAs are brought and sold at a higher price to get the majority in the government. And the secret backroom negotiations are taking...
Yeah, timer ban of AARATHI. You have 30 seconds and your time starts right here. Please.
Why fix a system that is not broken, especially when the time and energy of making an amendment in an Indian constitution is so huge? We, as an Indian government, have run over so many coalitions. We've had over 11 coalitions from 1977 alone. And we've even come up with the Pokhran deal. We've come up with economic reforms. All were a huge success. It is crucial to understand that a full-time government is important to be able to deliver the promises that it makes. If not, there is going to be political unrest. There are going to be losses.
Well, your time up. Now, ladies, you have 2 minutes for the debate. We'll start with you, SAHLA. Your time starts now.
The parties with the maximum seats are the most stable government in the country because the policies and development, everything is introduced at a rapid scale. And we are talking about the majority government, which is represented by the people of the country. The majority government is not created by a constitution or rule, but it is by the will of the people.
Okay, please.
I absolutely agree to your point, but the difference is if we take up majority, what happens to the minority? What happens to the Northeast? What happens to Jammu Kashmir? And on top of that, even in terms of trade and commerce, Anand Mahindra, Sajal Jindal, so many big people have quoted coalitions are the way to go forward. We as a world are moving towards collaboration.
Please.
My dear friend, there are policies and everything taking place in the democratic government. There are different constituencies and countries from every minority place that you are talking about. And the people have represented, the people wanted these particular persons from this particular party and these particular ideologies to rule them. That is why the concept of single party rule we have emerged, because they are not representing, it is like they are not representing the minority. They are representing all the people of the country.
Okay, AARATHI.
The problem with having one ideology win over the others is to have, like, say, only the votes of North India being catered into. And that is not the way we as Keralites would want to go forward. On top of all of that, we are just breaking the trust that people have made in us because the coalition governments are the best way to go forward, now not one person's ideas.
The coalition government itself, they differ in many ideas. Let us go back to the UPA government in the second time, where they have disagreed in the case of the UN nuclear treaty. So it is always not saying that the coalition government exists. And see, what is happening in the case of horse trading, where the MLAs are brought and sold at a higher rate, whom the people will trust. They have voted to this person or this particular political party, and after this, there are secret backroom negotiations taking place.
AARATHI.
These are one-off cases that do happen, and it is going to be expected. But to be able to make that a general rule is not fair. In terms of, say, impeachment, 2/3 of majority is required.
Time up now. Okay, AARATHI, your 30 seconds starts right now.
Any coalition has its own troubles, as every married man would know. And this is why I think it is extremely important to have coherence when you're functioning as a government. It is important to be able to have a stable government, to be able to have those ideologies which matter. It is more important to have value than to have numbers. In a country with such poor turnout at the voting rates and regional parties rising, even if one party is able to make up such high number of votes, it is to be appreciated. It is to be able to make the government instead of...
Your timer ban of SAHLA. Your 30 seconds starts now.
India is a country of unity in diversity. There are 4 things that has to be considered while a party is ruling the country. The first one is the regional aspirations, sectoral aspirations, the constitution and the rule of law, and finally the religious doctrines. That is why we proudly call it as a multi-party system. If one party is ruling the entire nation, remember, we are diminishing the concept of democracy, and there will be an unbalance of power between the different organs of the society, and the people will be only a tool for getting vote in the democracy. And India is not a unitary government. India is a union of states.
Time up. Now you have 2 minutes for the debate. We'll start with your AARATHI and your time starts now.
I'd like to bring to your notice the kind of governments that run in Canada, Denmark, Sweden, you name it, most of these developed countries. These systems are foolproof. They work on the basis of the trust that people put in them and they value it. In India, we are obviously just passing on the ball game, and that is not the way to go forward.
Okay, Sahla.
My dear friend, in the coalition government, what is happening is that when the different sectors of the society are being represented, the voice of every people is heard. And when, let's take an example of what is happening in the country today. There is an implementation of draconian rules, and authoritarian government will be formed, where the voice of the people in every sector of the society will be unheard.
Okay, Arti.
Nobody ever says that if you have one party, they are not going to cater to those votes. It is as important to them, they are going to listen to them. But the point is, when you make a coalition and then the coalition switches in a matter of days, you're losing trust, you're losing faith that we put into democracy as a system.
Okay,
My
Sahla.
friend, when one party is ruling the entire nation, the regional aspirations are not fulfilled. Let us take an example in the Kerala flood. We have not got what we have supposed to get. So these are all things that are important. The regional aspirations are not given any importance. And where is the concept of democracy if it is not given the importance?
Arti.
In terms of Kerala not getting enough funds, there are multiple other reasons. It is not going to be only because of the party system. What I have to put to your notice is, say, a government where in Italy, more than half the governments that are formed till date are like that. Denmark, 90% of governments since 1945. Can you say that these governments have not been successful? Obviously not. They're developed, they're big, and that's what matters.
Let us give you an example of another government, Kenya, where they were most of the time authoritarian government or one-party rule. In such a condition, the government has been held they have gone for the corruption, and it has led to the people and the development of the nation. And also in the Indira Gandhi government, while it was in the 1950s to 1975, emergency has been declared, which threatens the life of many people in the country. So this emergency has been declared. Out of this